Why does Crofty? Why is he? Why is there so much smile? Is he the guy with the smile on the broadcast on F1 TV on Sky?
Uh, David Croft seems to be the most happy person, other than Daniel Ricciardo.
It's psychotic how he's always. I get the yelling, but the smile behind his voice. Everything is just Christmas came early to little Danny Ricks.
Yeah, the exuberance is it's hard to believe
It's
it.
hard to it's hard to believe it. It's hard to believe. And who's the color guy? Who not the
Martin
colored
Brundle.
guy? Martin Brundle.
Yeah,
And he's just sort of and what's his accent? Where's he from?
he's from some place in the north, Kingsley, I think.
He's definitely from the north.
Yeah,
And he's
kind of
just like he's
sad.
so yeah, but he's trying to be up and he's like,
Yeah,
me mum
yeah,
beat me a lot, but I'm happy to be here, Crofty.
yeah.
Is
Martin
that a
Brundle.
good is that a good
No,
Martin Brundle?
neither of those were good.
No.
Martin Brundle certainly. It's like he doesn't know how to have fun. But I wonder if he's the type of guy, like if he had a few drinks, he would be like just throwing darts and insults and you know what I mean, cutting. I feel like he's that guy.
You
But
you want to get with some of your English brethren. Do you miss England? Do you miss the English?
well, I was made in England, born in Canada, so
Yeah.
But
That
I
does
feel
that
like if I lived there, I feel like I'd fit right in.
what do you mean you were made in England, born in
I
Canada?
was literally made in England,
You
and
were
then
conceived?
yeah, that's another word for it.
Oh, because made can also be like I was made in East Van, but I grew up in West Van. But
Yeah, of
I
course.
became a man in East Van.
Oh wow.
No?
No, I mean,
Okay.
let's try. Listen, I'm going to get to it right away because
Tell
he
me.
won 4 world championships in a row, so he is clearly an exceptional driver.
Incredible.
He may be a maverick, he may push the boundaries, he may do all those things, but he's won 4 world championships in a row. Red Bull's made a car that good for 4 years.
So now
Um,
you're choosing now to be convinced. You're on
No,
board
I'm
now.
not convinced. I still
You're
don't.
on board.
No. He's not. He'll never be. In my mind, he will never be one of the greats because of how he drives,
Hmm.
and that is the same. And get ready for Michael Schumacher.
Yeah. You don't
That is
like
the
him
same.
either.
Well, he drove the same way.
Yeah.
I think the great drivers were the drivers from the '60s and '70s, like Jackie Stewart,
Can you
because
do a Jackie Stewart?
right, it's important for you to make sure you keep your car on the road. Because if you don't keep your car on the road, you might die. Because when I used to race cars, you see, what would happen is people would drive and people would die.
That's uncanny.
So
I'm closing my eyes and I'm
it's
there.
not quite Jackie, but if I spent a bit more time on it, I think I could get Jackie Stewart right down.
I think your dad would have loved that.
Jackie Stewart in that era, it was dangerous to race. There's some number of like Jackie's like I lost like 60 friends in Formula One. Like it's some crazy number. So when you think about that, how they must have treated each other on the track and like not doing anything foolish. Those were the heroes of Formula One. This is no disrespect to what these guys are doing now. They're incredible drivers, what they're managing to do, all the stuff that they have to do on the steering wheel. But back then, they were gladiators and their lives truly were at risk. And they had truly, therefore, had a better sense of respect for each other.
Did you see Norris afterwards?
No, I haven't got that. I just watched the race. I was too busy
Cowed.
performing in front of 225 people.
Attaboy. Cowed.
Making money and making laughter, JB.
Oh, well done, milk bags. Let's get to that, but let's get to the race first. What did you think?
Well, again, I'm going to get controversial a little bit. I think the Las Vegas Grand Prix is a boring racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, let's put the cars down the strip. Sounds like a great idea. Does it really matter? Does it look any better?
You don't see.
It's a fence on top of concrete, on top of concrete, and all you see are the cars driving down a concrete tunnel.
What is with that fence? Like during the race,
your crackle's a little bit back.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
You're going to go buy the spray stuff, and you're going to spray all the holes and all the penetrating parts.
Okay. Let me write that down. But what do I do about right
That's what you
now?
say too. You go into a store and you go, I need a spray to put in holes and on
Yeah.
penetrating parts. They'll know exactly what
Well,
you're
I'll
talking.
probably just get it on Amazon. So, but what do I do about right now if everything's crackling? Do I switch mics?
I don't think it's the mic. I think it's your cords because it was good. So that means your inputs or your cord is old and the wires are fraying.
Well, everything's old.
Why? Well, I mean, we all can see that. Unless you're listening.
You can't see any people in this race. Do we complain too much? You can't
Yeah.
see any people in this race. The whole time it's like, is anyone watching this thing? There's no crowd shots. You can't see anybody but marshals along the way. You're right. It's like a green tunnel. I didn't think the beginning and the end were boring. I liked those, and there was stuff in the middle.
And there was passing. Don't get me wrong, and it's impressive when
There
they
was
fly
passing.
around the track. But I guess what I'm saying is they're in a desert. They could have built the best racing track outside of Las Vegas
Yeah,
with
that's true.
amazing turns, with
Yeah.
build a spectacular way for people to view the race. Because the fact is, the only reason you're doing it in Vegas is the glitz and the glamour. But you kind of don't see the glitz and the glamour during the race. Sometimes you see the shiny, but does it? I don't.
I mean, it was a little bit in qualifying where you'd see like a Sly Stallone or a Seth Rogen. But they didn't focus in, not on the street, not on the feed that I had. They didn't focus on the glitz and the glamour until the podium. And then they did that weird thing in the limo. Oh, you didn't see that
No,
part
I
yet.
know the limo part. Yeah, I saw
They
that.
do the limo part,
Mhm.
which is, I don't know, it was quite, I don't know, it was a little boring. And
Mhm.
then you're waiting around for the podium. And then I like the podium stuff because George did that weird thing with his arm, and then he got bubbles in his eyes, and then he sat down, and then he was like trying to clean his eyes out. And in the meantime, all like the rest of the racers were jizzing on each other. And then they for the group shot at the end. George
Are you
was like,
laughing at your own perverted joke?
no,
Oh,
George was a drowned rat, and but Lewis Hamilton, it looked like he was just dry as the desert, like he hadn't gotten one drop on him.
yeah.
He was just
He's
such a pro, and
yeah,
it was funny. It was an awkward. It was like an awkward teen and his cool dad in the
yeah.
same photo.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton. I mean, again, that was an incredible drive from him as well.
What happened in qualifying? Was that his mistake?
Well, I mean, I think he probably they didn't quite get where they needed to be, and as far as when I watched qualifying, he just didn't string together 3 intervals. You should just jiggle some cables right now while we do it. Just you know, it's fun to have mic sounds like this. It's part of the humor. It's all part of it. So Lewis had a great race, I thought. McLaren had my sort of take on McLaren is they kind of like, I think they all know that had they been more aggressive with how to move. Hey, Piastri, you're amazing. You're going to be great, but just you're going to have to shut up and finish behind Lando. And if they'd done that in Hungary, I'm telling you, these little incremental psychological things make a difference. Because if he'd won Hungary, Lando, right, that's just more pressure on Max and that team. And I truly believe this. Max is at his best when he's angry, for sure. When he
Mhm.
feels like the world's against him and he pulls out, just like Brazil. That was an amazing race. But the truth is when he is under consistent pressure, he makes mistakes. And that's why he becomes so aggressive. And that eventually will turn in and bite him in the ass. And that's why I was saying you need to just everything you can do, put that pressure on him because he didn't really win 2021 World Championship. That's not how you were supposed to win. He didn't win that. Lewis Hamilton put pressure on Max, and he crumbled multiple times in that season. And the only reason he won 2021 was because they did not follow the rules of F1. The rules literally weren't followed.
Are you gonna say more about that, or is it just
That's
like
it.
a
That's it. It's
given?
so obvious. It's like the rules literally weren't followed,
Oh,
and he
okay.
won a world championship. That's makes no sense.
So this year, because of because McLaren had the fastest car and two great drivers and still couldn't come up with the championship, the drivers' championship, do you think heads will roll, especially if they don't win the constructors?
No, I don't think he has a role because I think that what they do now is they go back and they think long and hard once they've won the drivers constructors or sorry the constructors championship, which I think they still will win. Um, I think I think they're going to assess how they approach next year. And they're going to, I think, unfortunately, neither Piastri or Lando wins the world championship next year because they're going to take points off of each other. That's what's going to happen. And I think that I don't want to make this prediction because I don't want it to happen. But I can see Max winning the world championship next year again because Ferrari, Lewis, and Leclerc will take points off each other. Piastri and Lando will take points off each other. And because Red Bull will probably keep Perez, and even if they don't, bring in Yuki, bring in Liam Lawson, neither of those guys are, in my opinion, going to be able to handle being Max Verstappen's partner. And then Max will be the clear number one and will win a fifth championship because the other teams didn't handle it correctly. That's what.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that kind of 1-2 driver dynamic, it extends to Mercedes. George, he's going to be in the first seat. He's not going to be a threat to Max.
If good point, JP. I like how you're getting in there. You're starting to know what's going on. Uh,
Pure
here's
vodka.
Yeah, that's what I need right now. Kimi Antonelli, the new driver, he's young. So unless he is like a Max Verstappen and just comes in and is like amazing, I don't think that's going to happen with Kimi.
Hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen. He doesn't seem like that driver yet. I think he's going to be very good, but I think he's going to need a bit of a runway. So that means George, in my opinion, could be the main person if Mercedes is a strong car next year because he should, in theory, be the de facto number one driver and therefore take it to Max. And I also think George has the fortitude to do it because Max and, or sorry, I should say George and George and Max have had a couple moments like in the last couple seasons, and George is like, yeah, shut up, shut up, shut up, like just walks away from Max when Max is complaining.
Personality-wise, George, I feel, is stronger than Norris. He's got
Mhm.
more ego, but
Yeah,
to me, he still drives a bit. He's a bit youthful in his decisions sometimes. Not young like Yuki or anything like that,
yeah.
but I can totally see Max winning again, and I can see George being up there also. And
Mhm.
Mercedes, I don't know. So who's going to win the constructors next year?
Well, I mean, It sounds it sounds crazy, but I think Ferrari will win the constructors next year because I think Leclerc
That doesn't sound crazy.
and
A
Hamilton.
lot of people peg them to win this year.
Yeah, I'm just saying that there's it's crazy because Ferrari really, truthfully, messes things up. So that's why I think it's crazy. I
There was a lot of confusion today. That
Mhm.
was a weird
that
move
was
of Carlos. Was that because they told him to stay out that he didn't come in, or is that he just didn't hear anything?
I think what happened was I don't believe Ferrari has the strength. I mean, what do I look at me? But I don't think Ferrari has the strength and confidence in strategy, and that's why Leclerc. There's a rant on the internet of him reaming out his team because he finished behind Sainz, and Carlos was also saying, like, guys, wake up! Like he literally said, "Wake up!" You know,
Yeah,
that's the stuff that makes me go. That's why they don't win a constructors
yeah.
because
That's
you
the
know
stuff I live for.
what
I want more of that. And I want more of it somewhere else, like, I don't know, is it fictionalized? Is there because Drive to Survive still won't actually show the juicy goss. I think there's such a market out there for like after a race is over, then you have a bunch of improvisers dressed up as race car drivers and team captains, and then they play out and fill in the holes. Like, what did happen with Carlos? Let's
Yep.
go there now.
Let's reenact.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. We should maybe try doing a couple role plays.
Improv F1. Let's role play. Okay,
Yeah.
you be Carlos and
Okay.
I'll be Frank. No,
Okay. Now
Fred.
there's a
Freddie.
great. I can't remember the name of the guy. There's this great guy from Ireland, I think, and he does all these impersonations of all the
Oh
F1.
yeah, I've
And
seen that
let me
guy.
see if I can try and get Carlos.
Okay.
Hang on. Guys, hang on. I need to hear it.
Oh, fair enough. Let's do it another day. Let's stick to the
Okay.
race. George, what did you think about George in the what? I've always thought of him as the next James Bond or the James Bond of F1. And then you saw him in that white Sun Ice ski jacket that Roger Moore wore
Was it Sun Ice?
in A View to a Kill. No, it was when Roger Moore wore it
Okay.
in A View to a
How
Kill.
do you remember that Roger Moore wore a
800
Sun Ice jacket?
The collar was up to here. He looked like Dracula, and he was snowboarding with Duran Duran and Grace Jones. I mean, how do you not remember that fucking movie? That was
God.
incredible.
Our 55 plus audience on Twitch is going to be loving this.
Kids love us too. They're all like, "Daddy, it's cool. We're fun. We're fun
We are.
dads."
We are. Well, I'm not a dad. I'm just a guy. I'm just an old guy that.
No. You're not. You're not a dad. It's true. You're a daddy. Okay, get into that.
I'm not sure.
No, you don't like
reading
that?
your mail. I'm not reading your mail. I don't even understand all that stuff. It makes no
Well, then
sense.
we got to talk about your sex life.
What?
Okay.
This is a live stream.
Well, I can't say sex life on a live stream.
My sex life.
Let's talk about the broadcast today. I really liked what James Hinchcliffe said about Lulu Hammerpants. He said if Lewis has a car he believes in, he can still drive like the Lewis of old. Don't you think?
I agree. 100%.
So are you excited about him going to Ferrari? Like, is that going to be a fresh new, or is it going to be starting over again? Because they're not allowed to work together beforehand, are they?
The storybook, and no, they aren't allowed to work together. The storybook, Hollywood write it correctly. Netflix pays for it, makes it happen. Liberty Media. Lewis Hamilton wins the world championship. That's the storybook. That's what
they
everyone
want.
wants.
Really?
And not to be
Why do they want that?
Because Lewis Hamilton is a good. The funny thing is, I've never been a fan of Lewis. I've never actually cheered for him. But he's a good symbol for the sport, and he's also
because he's black.
That's part of it for sure. But I think if you look at his racing.
Come on, keep going. Push through it.
Just get tired of all the.
Well, you don't have to have it right beside you with the fucking notifications on.
No, I forgot to turn it off. Then
you can just ignore that thing.
You can't ignore what that iPhone, Google Pixel, whatever. Anyway, so if you look at Lewis Hamilton and his history in the sport, he is a great racer. He's consistent. He's intelligent. He's not overly. He is aggressive when he needs to be, but he's not like you. I don't think we would go, he's a dirty driver. I think people would say less of that. He owns up to his mistakes, and then still comes back and has a great race. So he's like a good image. Like he's like as a champion, as a sports person. And I'm not saying everyone has to be like that to be a good world champion, but come on, that's what they want. And you don't think Ferrari wants? Like that? What a story!
Oh my God!
So it's just, I feel in a way sorry for Charles, because the world's going to want Lewis to win.
That's true.
Like the business. When I say the world, I mean business people, organizations, marketing people.
But they can't get that without fixing it.
Oh, they might. Look what Flavio Briatore did.
Yeah, on our last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of which, I haven't put that out as a podcast yet. Milky, can we get rid of the fastest lap thing? It's underwhelming.
Yeah, we can. We'll write a letter.
Let's write a letter
Mhm.
because I'm not sure what, especially when it's used as a Lando Norris or a Danny Ricks consolation prize for 1 point. They go and change tires to do it.
I
It's
know.
a
I don't.
foregone
I'm the
conclusion.
same
It's
way with
so
sprints.
boring.
Get rid of the sprint racing.
Get rid of the
Just,
sprints.
just,
No
just
one
get rid of it.
cares. Just get to the main event and don't get rid of DRS.
Well, in
DSR.
theory,
DRS?
yeah,
DRS.
DRS. In theory, there's supposed to be the regulations will still make the passing be good. I mean, the truth about DRS is it can make passing, you know, like I feel like I could do it.
Oh, right.
I feel like I could get in an F1 car right now and just hit a DRS button and pass Max Verstappen. Well, maybe not Max because he'd drive into me.
What have you got for this race? You got some hot takes or some mince, no mince?
The mincing, I'll say this, is on the Lando Norris side. I'll be like, he drove as good of a race that he could have in that car. And my no mince is McLaren. If they don't get their act together, they don't stand a. I mean, they'll still have a good season next year, but they don't have a chance to win the drivers or constructors next year. That's my no mince. And I like Zach Brown. But I don't know. He seems like a bit, in a way, nice.
Yeah.
Seems nice.
He's got that North American love of a democracy,
Yeah,
which doesn't always win in a
yeah.
team environment.
Like Christian Horner will say whatever he has to say to defend Max Verstappen. Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like Zach Brown would be like, yeah, Lando did drive into that guy a little bit. We'll have a talk. But Christian Horner will be like, oh, no, Max didn't drive into anybody. No, he didn't.
Well, have you noticed anyone adopt something as sensitive as papaya rules?
I mean,
No.
no.
Everybody has team directives, but no one comes out going, "Look, everyone, we've got papaya rules,
I
and
mean,
everybody's equal, and we're all the same, and fairsy squaresy." And it's like, no, not fairsies.
well, here's something that's interesting. Lando was really pushing for the papaya colors because those are the original colors of McLaren when they started. But just on the name of the fruit alone,
Yeah.
papaya, I don't think, just get it out of your vernacular. Just
No, it
remove it.
looks like the stomach. It's in the shape of that organ of the body. So it's not sexy or fast.
No.
It's definitely beneath a mango. Like no one goes, papaya's my favorite fruit,
Yeah, I never knew what a
you know?
papaya was until I traveled.
And then you get it and you're like, yeah, this is good, but it's kind of musky and weird. And what do I do with all these black seeds?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is like and it's also like, I don't know about you, but I like a firm, crunchy fruit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like an apple. I just like an apple. You bite into an apple and it's crisp and it's crunchy and bananas and papayas.
I love a banana,
They're soft. They're like,
but you can have
mm,
you could
and
but
then
a mango is so good.
but this soft.
You don't like soft things in your mouth? They have to be hard.
So
Anything
stupid.
else to talk about this race before we head on to
By the way, one of us
the
has to save
sponsor?
our mustache. One of us has to get rid of it.
Why?
I'm just looking at these two caterpillars.
Yours is looking good these days. It's very
I got.
healthy and fulsome.
I'm going to get rid of it. I also think it makes me look older.
Oh, well, I'm not going to get rid of mine because
There's nothing you can do
I
to look
like
younger.
I like giving mustache rides.
Wow, Jesus, you better go out and have a good time soon. It sounds like you're pent up.
I am. I'm going out in 45 minutes to have a good time.
Oh, are you? Oh, that's the deadline. You're going on a date.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic, JB.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
I go on dates.
I know that's cool. I always think like if I was single, I don't know if I would.
Oh, say more. I agree, but say more.
I just think I'd be like, you know, I've been around long enough. I get it. I know how it all works, and
Yeah.
I'd rather write a poem.
Well, it's a pain in the ass dating,
Yeah,
for sure, but leaving the house is.
yeah.
It's expensive, traffic's terrible,
Mhm.
and my bed isn't out there, whereas it is here, and my books. And but I figure it's also there's way more stories that happen outside,
I
and
mean,
I
that's
love
true.
having stories. And every once in a while, I'll realize with my Wednesday night friends, I'll be like, I don't have as many stories as I should.
Well,
So
you're
then I go back
curious.
on the apps.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
I'm
you're curious.
curious.
You're curious. Like you're I mean, for the most part, JB, you're the type of person that will be up for some sort of an adventure. The
Yeah,
moment that that adventure becomes irritating to you, however, you'll pull the plug fast.
that's exact. You've described
Yeah.
me to a T. I love an adventure if it yields a story or if we're doing something weird. But if so, I'm so easily annoyed that I will bail on you without even saying I'm going.
It's incredible that this podcast is even happening.
I'm always surprised I still have friends.
Yeah, well, do you have many?
I do. Yeah.
What, you have a lot of friends?
I'm very popular. Yeah.
Really? I pegged that. I didn't think that would be the case. I would have
Is
figured
that
by now.
right?
Well, yeah, because usually this is a little theory I have that's stolen from somebody else.
Yeah.
Is that like over time,
Hmm.
people can't help but reveal themselves and who they truly are. So
Right.
that's why as you get older, you become more selective with who you hang out with, even if those people were good friends at a certain age of your life, like when at a certain time. And
Yeah.
so I found I have less friends now. And I also find that I have less motivation to hang out with people in general.
I have that too. I have the motivation or the lack of motivation, but I've noticed that not having a romantic partner anymore, I've noticed that I get a lot of fulfillment out of being with friends and especially with breaking bread with those friends.
And when you say breaking bread, you mean like having dinner?
Yeah, so I host a lot, so I go out to dinner a lot. I love buying people dinner.
Mhm.
It's outrageously expensive these days, but I get so much from that. And maybe it's because I'm a solitary man, but
Yeah, maybe.
I love. Also, years ago, my mom impressed upon me and my brother, friends will save you. And so I learned that early on. And like I hosted dinner last night, I host again on December 9th and the 21st. I really, it's exhausting, but I fucking get so much out of it. And I'm certainly not one to, I'm not very good at going out to comedy or concerts, although I'm trying. And so, yeah, I found myself with a number of friends on different tiers, like
Yeah,
I'll have like Sath and Haji. I don't see them as much as I'd like,
yeah,
but they're got their own thing going. But we see each other maybe once a month. And then Mo and Dave, I see pretty much every Wednesday for 2 or 3
yeah.
hours. We have dinner together.
That's pretty impressive. Like
Yeah,
that's
I could
impressive
go
that
on.
you're that scheduled. Yeah, you were going
Yeah,
on actually.
I
So I'm
was.
I'm coming in
I
to stop that.
karaoke with
Yeah,
Jeff
yeah. Okay, I'm
once a
trying to stop
week.
you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I've got my friends
Yeah,
through acting. I've got actor friends now,
yeah.
which I
Those are the
didn't
worst
have.
type of friends. Worst type of
Well,
friends.
no, I really like these ones, and
No,
we're
the
making
actor
stuff.
friends are the worst. Let's.
Okay, let's get on to the sponsor of the race, shall we?
Okay. Do you want to do the sponsor game or do you want to do what you're doing first?
Oh, I'm easy. Go ahead.
Okay, sponsor game. All right. We're going to do right now is Formula One is built on advertising, which is basically the whole world. There's
Yeah.
so many products out there. How do we keep up? It's insane. Oak Berry. This is
Oakberry.
this is Team Haas's sponsor, Oak Berry. What do you think it is?
Um, let's see. Let me narrow it down. Pinkberry is sex toys.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
Oak
know.
Oakberry, it's like vibrators and stuff.
Yeah.
Oakberry, it's the Haas sponsorship for exhausts.
No, it is it's the biggest acai brand in the world with over 500 locations in 40 countries. They serve, or is that acai?
Oh, acai berries. Yes. Oh, I
God,
can't
I'm
stand those
so
things.
ignorant. I'm so ignorant. Don't know how to say words.
Why does Haas still race?
Well, they're doing great. What are you talking about?
They're doing great? Like, are they
They're having an
making
incredible
money?
season. Yes, they're having and plus the team's probably worth $2 billion. What an incredible!
Okay.
By the way, if you
Well,
want
you
to
don't have to
explore
yell.
criminals of F1, explore Gene Haas. By the way, there's another
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah.
goes on.
He
Okay,
actually did time.
okay. This one you got to get Chipotle.
Chipotle,
Yeah.
they make shitty burritos.
Yes, you got it. Boom. Nice work. Okay. Next one. Um, I just you don't have to guess what this is. I just like how it sounds. Haas Tooling.
Well, it's Gene's
Yeah, you
original
don't have to
company.
guess. I just like saying Haas Tooling.
Oh, Haas Tooling. Yeah.
Hi, what are you doing tonight? I'm Haas Tooling.
Yeah. It does sound like you're jerking off.
It sounds like something like that. Or it sounds like you're doing like some sort of like breathing exercise or finding like some like muscle that you never knew you had. Haas Tooling. I'm practicing Haas Tooling.
Yeah, you're bringing back Gunther, aren't you? Gunther Stein.
Oh, goodness, Steiner.
Okay, my sponsor
Hang
of
on,
the
last
race.
one.
Oh, sorry.
Schuth. No, sorry. I'm really
Schuth?
not good at reading.
No,
Schuberth.
you're not. Schuberth. You custom made shoes that you make yourself. You birth them
Oh,
yourself.
you're in the clothing realm. They've been producing protective helmets of different varieties since the 1940s.
Good for them.
Now,
That's longevity.
I'm always blown away when there's companies that have been around for so long, like General Electric, right? Like it's
Mm,
impressive that
mm.
they haven't screwed it up.
Yeah,
Like it's incredible.
it's incredible that they haven't been canceled. Sponsor of the race for me, Wynn Las Vegas.
Go.
The Wynn Resort in Las Vegas at a cost of $2.7 billion
Peanuts.
is the most expensive resort ever built,
What?
or was the most expensive resort ever built. It opened in 2005 with 2,700 rooms and a 111,000 square foot casino. Have you been to that casino, Milky?
I have.
And what did you think?
It is a beautiful casino, probably
Yeah.
one of my favorite casinos.
Yeah. Did you win big?
No,
No.
no. I have a couple of great Vegas stories,
Oh,
which
go ahead.
we could go into them if you want.
Yeah.
Well, one time when I was living in Whistler, being a ski bum,
Yeah.
working two jobs, I was a waiter, all these things. I basically had no money, but my friend Tim was like, "Let's go to Vegas." And I'm like, I got like $600 in my bank account. I can't go to Vegas. I live in Whistler and I ski every day. Because just come. And I can't remember. I think he just said, "I'll pay for the flight or something, or I'll cover the hotel."
No
Let's just
way.
go. Yeah,
That's nice.
Tim's a very generous guy.
Yeah.
So
I've
I went.
met Tim, right?
Yeah, I think you've met Tim Alford at some point. Oh, I shouldn't have said his full name. Oh, now everyone's going to think.
Why?
Well, because now everyone's going to ask him to fly people to Vegas.
Oh, I don't think that's the way it works.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So I go, and the first night there, I basically lose all the money I have, like including what was in my bank account. So I was like, it was my first time to Vegas. So I have no money. No money.
So wait a second. What was your plan? That you were going to win big, double your money, and then
Well,
continue on?
I just thought, well, I didn't have to pay. I can't remember. Like, I didn't have to, like, I just thought if I'm here, you know,
I'll be taken care of.
I'll just figure it out. So anyway, so I was really bummed out. And then Tim's partner, Pam, she felt really bad for me. So she bought me a hot dog, but she bought me a hot dog from like,
Wait, you went down with Tim and his partner, Pam?
yeah.
So not only were you broke, but you were the third wheel
Yeah. There might have
and you
been
were broke.
hang on, there could have been, Chuck might have been there too.
Okay. The plot thickens.
So she bought me the most disgusting, sad hot dog. Probably
Yeah.
because Tim said this will be funny. Go buy the shittiest hot dog and give it to David. Tim's got a very funny sense of humor. So anyway, I think I ate half of it, and so then I had no money to do anything really. And again,
Yeah.
Tim was kind and was like, "Well, let's go to the all-you-can-eat buffet. But just eat all day. I'll buy you, get you in there, and just eat all day." And then I was like, we were there for 3 days. So then I was like, "What am I going to do?" So I took a cash advance on my credit card.
Oh God.
And it does end good. And in the Luxor or Luxor, how do you say any of these words?
The Luxor.
Is it the Luxor? The one that's
That's
the
good.
glass pyramids.
Luxor. That's good.
Luxor.
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 And I started
Luxor.
playing roulette with the cash advance money, and I won all my money back. So I got
No.
back to $600.
Did you pay down on the cash advance, or did you pay that
No,
exorbitant interest rate?
I paid the cash advance down, and I got back to $600.
Oh my God, you must have been so stressed out.
Yeah, but I
You
didn't
must
pay.
have been.
I didn't pay Tim back anything, and I certainly didn't pay Pam for that hot dog.
You still owe Tim money.
Yeah, I'm never going to pay him.
Good for you. What does
There's a
Tim
few
do
people in
for
my
a
life.
living?
There's a few people in my life where I've just said I'm never paying you back.
Is Tim the doctor?
No, that's Ben. Who's
Oh,
a
that's
huge
Ben.
F1 fan. We should have him on the podcast sometime.
That sounds
Although
great.
he's got a professional career, so maybe he wouldn't want to jeopardize that being on a
He probably
podcast where two
doesn't.
idiots talk about stuff that maybe they
Well,
shouldn't say.
one idiot for sure.
Well, yeah.
The Wynn Resort, its 45-story hotel tower was the tallest building in Nevada. It's also got a lake, a mountain, restaurants, retail, nightclubs, and a golf course. Did you partake in the mountain or the lake when you were there?
No, I don't. I don't golf, and I get enough mountains where I live. What's nice about the Wynn Casino is like the actual casino itself is
Mhm.
actually it's kind of nice. Most casinos, when you go into, there's something about them that are a little bit cheesy, the sound, but the Wynn I feel kind of classy.
Wow.
So I felt special. The Wynn makes you feel special, but they'll take your money.
Speaking of special and money, let's talk about Steve Wynn, the 82-year-old founder of Wynn Resorts. After the January 2017 inauguration of Donald Trump, Wynn
boy.
was named finance chairman of the Republican National Committee.
Oh boy.
In October 2017, the Wall Street Journal reported that Wynn, who has financial interests in China, lobbied Trump on behalf of the Chinese government to return a Chinese dissident, Guo Wengzhu, to China. On January 28, 2018, Wynn resigned from the finance chairman position amid sexual misconduct allegations. In May of 2020, the Department of Justice ordered Wynn to register as a foreign agent of China.
What?
And filed a civil lawsuit. He denied acting as a foreign agent and lobbying on China's behalf. The case was dismissed in October 2022. The court did not determine whether Wynn actually acted as a foreign agent, but ruled that he could not be retroactively compelled to register after his alleged relationship with the Chinese government had ended. Together with his spouse, or his ex-spouse now, Wynn contributed $1.5 million to Donald Trump's 2020 presidential campaign. I don't think that makes Wynn a pirate of F1, but it makes him a pirate for sure.
Holy cow. It just makes me think like, first of all, I'm glad you have friends, because otherwise I think you'd spend a lot of time on the internet and you'd become a conspiracy theorist and something like that. I think so I'm glad people like you.
Okay.
Because that is some in-depth research that
Well,
you
no,
found.
it's not. It's not in depth at all. It's Wikipedia, and I just cribbed it from there. But I donate to them, so I feel like I can do it with a clear conscience, and that's something that maybe the Stephen Wynns of the world don't have. I don't know. I don't know where their moral compass is at these days.
Here's what I'm learning. Everyone's bad.
That's it. Yeah.
Everyone's
Well,
bad. Just accept the bad. We're all bad. Everyone's bad. Sometimes you're good, but then you're bad. That's what it is.
that's pretty good.
Yeah. You
So
know,
that gives you
it's
pretty
also
good.
pretty bad.
But if you're bad and good together, doesn't that land you in pretty good? In between, if you're pretty
Well, no, I think.
bad, isn't that worse than just bad?
Well,
He's pretty bad.
well, I mean, if you're
Or
gonna
is
have a scale, it's like it's probably like great.
yeah.
You know, sort of great, pretty good. No, good. Good's better than pretty good. Don't you think? Pretty good is not good.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess very good, good, pretty good,
Yeah.
average,
Yeah.
and then pretty bad, bad, very bad.
Yeah. That's,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm glad we figured that out.
That's the superlative. We learned about grammar.
And I'll forget about it later.
Anything else you want to say about Las Vegas?
Well, no, I actually hope they don't go there anymore, but I know that's not going to happen. I don't enjoy that race.
What
It's
do you, let's get on to Qatar then, or
Yeah,
Qatar. What do you think about this
I don't know how to
race?
say that either. Yeah. Well, I think this track is actually a well-designed track.
Really?
Yeah, it is. If I'm correct, I'm just going to make sure, but I'm pretty sure it's custom designed track for. Um, this is great. What do I look like right now?
Oh, let me see. I was just checking
Oh,
my notes.
like, what do I
You
look?
look like you're typing on your laptop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a custom designed track, so they've got some corners and some sequences that really push the F1 car and the technology that's required to drive fast and really like express the machinery and
They have a
technology.
modern city there. It's
Yeah.
like brand new. They could have just done a street course easily with
Mhm.
all those fancy buildings. I mean, it looks like the future there.
They should stop at the street courses in Formula One. Just have a few, and that's it.
How
It's so
many do
that
they have? Is it too many?
Well, they got Vegas. They're going to have Madrid, I guess. They're getting rid of Barcelona. There's
Oh,
talk of a London Grand Prix. Please don't. Then
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan, another track that is, okay, for a street track. At least when they drive down that track, it looks interesting because you see all the old buildings and they drive by a castle.
Yeah.
In Vegas, they drive by concrete walls and fences. It makes no sense to me.
No, it's
Um,
boring as fuck.
Monaco's incredible, even though
Yeah,
it's hard to
except that it's
pass.
boring.
Well,
It looks
if you're
good.
it looks good, but if you're an F1 fan, what's a true F1 fan? What's insane about it is they're threading the needle the whole time.
I see.
So I just keep going. The concentration and the precision for whatever it is, 72 laps or something. It's incredible.
Okay, let's get back to Qatar or Qatar.
Yeah. What do you
Qatar
want?
experienced a huge growth due to oil since the Sheraton Hotel
No
was
way.
the only thing going in the 1980s. Yeah.
Wait,
Now,
hang on a sec. The way they existed was a hotel.
that's
Was the
all there
only
was in the 1980s. Yeah. Doha's the capital of Qatar,
cool
and
name.
80% of Qatareens,
Both of those
Qatar,
sound cool.
live in the city limits of Doha. Um, I don't know if that's true, but maybe half. Anyways, the skyline is made up of modern towers and buildings like the Aspire Tower, which, if you Google it, it looks just like one of those garlic skin removers. You know how
Oh yeah,
you roll them? They've
yeah,
also got a National Museum of Qatar, which resembles a pile of dishes that have all been
yeah,
thrown and then
yeah.
sticking out of clay, which is really cool looking. And then the Museum of Islamic Art, which was designed by I.M. Pei, and it looks amazing. Do you know that name? He's a very
Nope.
famous. He died, but he was a Chinese American architect. It looks so cool. I'd love to go here.
Well,
Doha has
I was going to say, based on Wikipedia's research, it sounds like I want to go there too. That sounds like a really fascinating city and culture.
Well, yeah, I don't know about the culture. I mean, I'm sure it would be amazing, but it is Muslim, so
Yeah, well, I'm
you gotta
basing.
watch out.
Yeah, sure, but
You gotta be careful.
do you?
Yeah, I can't just go talking like I do now. Plus, you
Oh,
gotta
I guess so.
you can only drink in certain places, Milky.
Oh, interesting. I
So
didn't know that.
you have to be very careful with your
I got to get a Wikipedia subscription or donation thing
I don't
going.
think you do. I don't think you do.
Okay, thank you.
I think you can just do it without paying. I think most people do that. Doha has a population of a little over 1 million, so that's about on par with Calgary, Alberta. It was founded in 1825, 59 years prior to the incorporation of Calgary, Alberta. Qatar ranks among the world's richest countries thanks to its wealth of oil and gas reserves. The country has a population of around 3 million, a third of the inhabitants living in Doha. Oh, there we go, 30%. Qatari nationals account for only 10% of the country's population. The majority of the population is made up of migrants, most of whom have moved to Qatar for work.
Yeah, because they got to build crazy buildings.
They got to constantly be building, and they need all the people to run all the stuff. They need all the people from Africa and the Philippines and Indonesia to come and give that cheap labor. Doha is a very safe city, especially if you're a straight male. They are officially an Arabic speaking country. Qatar's human rights record is absolute shit,
Oh,
especially in relation to laws on women's rights and those of the LGBTQ community. While the government's laws are strict, those who live in Qatar are generally welcoming and tolerant.
oh, wow.
You're
So
able to
so
drink. You're able to go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, so Qatar is they've got some rules and ways of being that are maybe
Yeah, it
with the
can't
rest
be.
of the
It's
world,
classic Islamic. Can't be gay,
right?
and
And
it's not great if you're a woman.
so we should just take a little. We should review maybe one race or sorry, runways. I can tell I need to eat something. I haven't had breakfast. Um, we should kind of go through all the tracks and the countries to go to and be like, rate the countries that are, the most maybe fair, I guess, or kind or something.
Tolerant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tolerant.
yeah,
Because it seems like Formula One's in a lot of countries where there's a bit of like, okay, that doesn't seem so nice.
yeah,
Maybe is there maybe a way we can work with that or something,
yeah.
or make it better.
Let's
I
talk
mean,
about booze.
oh boy,
You
I thought
can
you were going to
only
say
drink in.
boobs.
Oh, I'd love to talk about those
Yeah.
later. You can only drink in licensed locations. And at the Qatar Grand Prix, alcohol is only available in the hospitality venues. It's not served in the fan zone.
Yeah.
So beware, all you punters out there. You can't just roll up
Yeah.
and just drink beer like it's
Get crazy.
NASCAR. Yeah, you
Which
got to
what, to
have.
be honest with you, I'm the alcohol
I'm
free
fine with
living
that.
is pretty good. Like
It's so much better than being with a bunch of yahoos who
because
are
yeah,
out of
you're right. Because
control.
usually what happens is people get too saucy and then they
Yeah,
become annoying, and that's why you don't go to concerts
yeah,
anymore.
yeah. Drinking in public in Qatar can result in a prison sentence of up to 6 months.
Holy, okay, that seems. Whew,
That's tight. That's
yeah,
tight.
that seems like.
The Qatar Grand Prix will happen Sunday, December 1st, 2024 at 8 o'clock local time, where the temperature will be 21 degrees Celsius.
This race is going to be an exhausting race for the drivers. It was the last time they raced there. It was
Why is that?
intense. It's an intense track. When you
Yeah.
look at the layout again, like I was saying, they've designed this track to push the limits of a Formula One car and a driver like to the utmost. What is it called when you're like, never mind, I'm not going to go there. I'm clearly
Good.
hungry. I'm clearly hungry now.
Well, we should go then, because I got to
Uh,
go. And you got
uh,
to eat.
so we're going to see a really good race of attrition potentially too. There could be a few more failures, I would
Hmm.
say, and I think you might see a few more mistakes from drivers as they get tired.
Hmm.
I'm going to make a few predictions.
Go ahead.
I think that this race winner, it's going to be a Ferrari car. I don't know if it's going to be Carlos or Charles, although I feel like it might be Charles because he's angry after what happened in Vegas.
Hmm.
I don't think the Mercedes perform well here. I think McLaren performs better. And I think that you're going to see a wild battle between Lando and Piastri.
Yeah, and I
I
think
think.
Piastri's going to come out on top.
Oh, JB tossing in some
Because
predictions.
when it rains, it pours, and I just see I know I'm coming at it with absolutely no evidence,
Yeah.
but when I see Lando's energy, I'm like,
Mhm.
Oscar, if Oscar saw that energy, the killer inside Oscar is going to put his foot down on that neck, and he's going to show everybody that he should be the number one driver at McLaren.
Oscar, he feels like a shark to me.
He's a
Like,
silent killer. Yeah,
right,
he's
like
a
he
silent
feels
killer.
like
Yeah.
a
Whereas
great
Max
white.
is
Yeah.
like can't shut up.
Well, Max is
Oscar is
like,
just
yeah,
like, I'm going to slit your throat when you're
yeah,
asleep.
yeah. I'm just gonna let you
Yeah.
do whatever you're doing, and I'll just wait.
Sorry.
And I'll,
I'm just going to slip your throat when
while
you're
you're
asleep
sleeping,
while you're sleeping, mate.
nighty
That's what I'm going to
night,
fucking do, mate.
you
Yeah.
know. Sorry,
No.
and you're right. Like Max, it's kind of like a Wolverine. I feel like
Yeah.
will just
Yeah.
tear you apart.
Just tear you apart and you can hear him for blocks.
You
Yeah.
know, but yeah, like Oscar's just gonna stealthily float over there. You won't know he's coming. You'll turn around, and then there's a wide mouth with many teeth.
Who do you
Inside you
think can
go.
save Lando? Who can turn him around?
Well, I don't think it's as bad and as dark as you're painting it. I do think though, you're onto something. He needs I think he needs to be more. Again, I think he needs to crash with Max and crash with whoever. I think he needs to bang some wheels. I really think that's what's going to happen, and
I
that's the
think he
only
should
way.
move to Mercedes because I think Toto can show him how to be a success.
Um,
What do you think?
mm,
What do you think
I
about that?
I think no. I think he's at McLaren for a long time. Is my prediction.
That's too bad because he's never going to win a championship there.
Whoa, JB! I don't know if that's true.
That's no mince right there.
Here's my bold
That's no
prediction.
mince.
Here's how nerdy of an F1 fan I am. I think that Williams is not going to do any work on this 2025 the 2025 season. Not going to do any development. They'll do whatever they have, the most basic. And all this
Okay.
extra wind tunnel time they're going to get because they're finishing ninth. So that means you get more wind tunnel time to work on your
Yeah.
aerodynamics. And it's quite significant.
Yeah.
I think that they are just going to do all next year for 2026. And my prediction is that in 2026, Williams is no longer at the bottom. I think that they might even be a top 4 contender.
That's a hot take right there. Are you allowed to tank your season to get more wind tunnel?
Well, you don't necessarily tank your season, but you just don't put as much. Like when you're testing with the other regulations in mind.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Right.
what they're going to do because
I
one
bet
of the
there's more
reasons.
than one team that are in a holding pattern until 2026.
Oh yeah, and there's a reason why Red Bull was so dominant last year when Max basically won everything, was because in 2022 they were having such a good season. Like by the halfway point, they were like, "No one's going to beat us. Let's just think about 2023 now."
Mm.
And then they just smeared everybody in 2023. And then I don't quite understand what happened for 2024. Like, how did everybody just catch up? It's so crazy.
It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know either. How does Alpine have a great race in Brazil?
Well, I have a counter argument for what you said because remember you said Ocon said, "Oh, it's a great leveler for rain
The
is a
weather.
leveling the
Yeah,
weather,"
the
and
weather.
their some truth to that for sure. Really good drivers can do
But
really well in the wet.
both of their cars.
So what happens is, and this is where everyone's like, "Oh my God, Max is brilliant in Brazil." Yes, he's brilliant in Brazil. He was. There's no question. But what you have to remember is that certain cars will perform better in certain types of conditions. Take a look at Mercedes driving in the cold, slick track of Las Vegas. They were nowhere.
Yeah.
So when it comes wet, what it does is I actually think it levels the field all around. Some cars just become better in the wet. And I think, Max's car in combination with Max's exceptional prowess in the wet is undefeatable. He just
Slippery when wet.
Oh my
Great
God,
album.
JB. Good album. That's Motley Crue, right?
Bon Jovi? Shot to the heart.
That's Bon Jovi. Slippery when wet. Maybe it is.
I gotta go.
Okay, I gotta go too.
Love you.
We'll talk to you soon. And We remember we got there's the next weekend is a race.
Next, we're back, Milky. I'll see you on Wednesday, where we're going to do a preview for Qatar, and then we'll do the Pirates of F1. The next pirate is going to be your friend and mine, Bernie Ecclestone.